minutes, he tends to dominate in CrossFit. And this workout falls in that time domain and where he normally dominates. He's yet to win an event at this year's CrossFit Games. This might be where he breaks through and finally wins an individual event, although he is in first place accumulatively by his balance in all the events.
All right, let's explain what these athletes will be doing. Quick recap. They have a series of exercises that they need to chip away at. That's why it's called the chipper. We just began the chipper event. 10 overhead squats. In fact, they've got to do 10 reps of the following exercises: overhead squats, box jumps, fat bar thrusters, power cleans, toes to bar, burpee muscle ups. Then they go back through those same exercises in reverse order. So we'll explain them as they get there. That's a 24-inch box. They can either jump all the way over, or they can stop at the top and jump down on the other side.
These athletes going out the chute like a rocket here. Very fast pace, very high pace. We'll see if that catches up to some of them or if they can maintain this pace. Matt Chan coming off in first place. Graham Holmberg right behind him.
Dan Bailey's right in the mix as well. We've got several athletes that are neck and neck. Dan Bailey, Matt Chan, Rich Froning, all trading the lead, one against the other. Kenny Leverage is in the mix too.
Where we're going to see these athletes start to separate is going to be the power cleans. The athletes that touch and go the most reps are going to get through that the quickest, and the burpee muscle ups, a difficult, challenging, highly technical event.
Okay, and there's Kenny Leverage as he advances on to those power cleans. 205 pounds on the bar. And we'll see, like you said, Matt, or like you said a second ago, Josh, we'll see if Matt can string together several of those power cleans. Looks like he's dropping the bar, which takes just a few seconds longer to reestablish that grip and pull it once again.
I think a good strategy might be to drop the bar this first time through, and on the second time through, see what you have left, so you don't burn yourself out, burn that grip out early on in the event.
Well, they do have two exercises that follow the power cleans. They've got to do toes to bar, which taxes the grip. They're also going to do some burpee muscle ups, which is going to tax the grip. So you're probably right in that strategy. So right now, Matt Chan, this is his 10th power clean. He will be the first one to move on to the toes to bar. He has to do 10 toes to bar. Then he'll move on to the bar burpee muscle ups. Go ahead.
Rich Froning right with Matt Chan there. And what we saw in the last heat was the bigger athletes, Spencer Hindle, first to the burpee muscle ups, but got passed by several athletes. Matt Chan, one of our heavier athletes in the competition here, first one to the burpee muscle ups. Will some of the lighter athletes pass him on this exercise that tends to favor smaller, lighter people?
So Matt Chan and Rich Froning going rep for rep on the burpee muscle ups. Dan Bailey in lane 2, Matt Chan in lane 3. And last year's Games champion, Rich Froning in lane 1.
A lot of technique here. Watch as the athletes. He's going to get a little kip pull with the arms. You want to get those rings to the middle and lower part of the chest as you make that transition into the dip. If they make that transition high and outside, you're going to miss that muscle up. These athletes cannot afford to miss a muscle up. Wasted energy, wasted time. They've got to be able to hit all 10 in a row without a failure.
So Rich Froning is slightly ahead of Matt Chan. Rich Froning, this is his 6th muscle up. Matt Chan right behind him. This is his 6th muscle up. He's in the blue shirt.
Work our way through all these athletes. Just awesome performances this weekend to be in this final heat, the heavy hitters heat, if you will. We'll see all these guys tomorrow. Right now, they're vying for a spot on the podium. Kyle Kasperbauer in the middle of your screen there, kind of a dark horse. He's been at the CrossFit Games individual in 2009. The last 2 years, he's been on CrossFit Omaha's team, and now he's shining as an individual at the CrossFit 2012 Games.
There's our current leader, Rich Froning. As he moves on to the toes to bar, he's slightly ahead of Matt Chan. Matt Chan finishes his 10th burpee muscle up and moves on to the toes to bar. So once again, another gymnastics type movement that's going to favor a smaller athlete. Matt Chan, one of the larger athletes, but it looks like he's chipping away. Rich Froning extends that lead, gets to the barbell first. He has to complete 10, and he's dropping it. So against your advice, Josh, he has to complete 10 power cleans. It's 205 pounds.
Matt's dropping
Matt's
as well.
dropping good as
Now,
well.
remember, they're not only competing against themselves here, but Ben Smith set the time of 7:37. They've got about 3 minutes to work their way through this last set of exercises and stand on that block at the end of the tennis stadium here.
So Rich just completed his 6th rep. Matt Chan right behind him just completed his 5th rep. So they're going to make a race out of it. And we're going to see who's got more gas left in the tank.
Notice this,
Who wants it a little bit more.
high rep Olympic lifting at a high heart rate, under tremendous amount of strain, and look at the technique. Spot on from these guys. Very few flaws in the technique, even when they're dead tired, even with high reps.
There's Dan Bailey. Rich Froning is the first one to advance to the fat bar thruster. 135 pounds on the bar. He essentially has to do a front squat to an overhead press with 135 pounds. Matt Chan right behind him.
Again, wants to make sure he utilizes his legs and his hips to launch that bar off the chest and then finish with the press of the arms. Utilize your entire body to throw that weight up there.
So Rich Froning on his 6th rep, Matt Chan on his 4th rep. Only 2 or 3 reps separating each athlete. Matt Chan drops
has
the
to take
bar.
a break. Rich Froning's going to go unbroken.
That's
extend his
huge.
lead.
That is huge. Matt tried to minimize the rest period, but Rich Froning took 0 rest period as he starts in on his box jumps, a 24-inch bar.
Matt Chan may be getting tired. Watch out for Jason Khalifa, a guy with a huge engine. He may sneak up on Matt and get that 2nd place spot.
Well, and Jason is in 3rd place right behind Matt Chan. He's only 3 reps behind Matt Chan at this point.
Rich has to pour it on, though. He's got a little over a minute to finish this and win the event.
So the time to beat, 7 minutes and 37 seconds, is set by Ben Smith. And Rich Froning only has 10 overhead squats at 155 pounds. He's got a little less than a minute in order to do it.
Let's see if he can get that bar in the right spot. And real estate, it's all about location, location, location. And overhead squats, it's all about position, position, position. You get that bar in the right position, and you're going to smoothly squat up and down with no problems. And that's what Rich Froning is doing right now. Look at that beautiful technique.
Matt Chan chasing him down. It's not going to look like, it does not look like he'll be able to catch Rich Froning.
And Rich Froning's going to win his first event out of 11 in the Reebok 2012 CrossFit Games.
Jason Khalifa chasing him down, and there he goes. As he steps on the plate, number 1, he is in first place. 7 minutes and 6 seconds unofficial time. He beat Ben Smith's time of 7 minutes and 37 seconds by half a minute. Great job on Rich's part as he has solidified his place at the top of the leaderboard. It looks like Jason Khalifa actually pulled ahead of Matt Chan on the last set of overhead squats, and Matt Chan really needed to push it right at the end.
And both gentlemen finish ahead of Ben Smith and push him to, I believe Ben Smith is going to end up 4th overall in this event. Still a good showing for Ben Smith, and is going to move him up at the leaderboard a little bit here. Scott Panchik looking to be the next to finish. Scott, a new to the CrossFit scene here, an excellent showing for his first CrossFit Games.
I really like Scott Panchik. He's a wrestling coach. And,
You're a wrestling coach,
and I'm a wrestling coach. There's Dan Bailey on your screen. Rich Froning is his training partner. Immediately goes over and starts cheering on fellow training partner Dan Bailey. Jason Khalifa doing the exact same thing.
That's just what happens in this sport. A lot of these athletes are coaches. Their inclination is to go over and coach. In this sport, in CrossFit, coaches, trainers, our lives are about helping and improving other people's lives. That's where we get our joy, not necessarily from being the first to finish a workout or developing ourselves, but it's helping others. We can see that right here with Rich Froning Jr.
And he's pushing Graham. Graham has a smile on his face and saying, hey, Rich, I'm doing it as fast as I can. Give me a break, right?
Champions, 2 champions right there. Graham Holmberg, champion in 2010. Rich Froning, champion in 2011.
Matt Chan coming over to cheer on Graham. What an incredible workout. I love this series of movements. Graham moves on to the final movement, which is an overhead squat with 155 pounds. He only has 10 reps left. 15-minute time cap. We haven't even seen any athlete have a problem in getting the amount of work required done under the time cap.
excellent snatch by Graham to get into his overhead squats. But look at these athletes cheering each other on, working each other up. If you're new to CrossFit, new to the CrossFit competitions, watching this for the very first time, this is what our sport is about. These are the type of people, the character that's in our sport. There aren't bad people, there aren't mean people, there aren't people you don't want to cheer for, people that you hate. All our competitors generally care about each other and want to see each other do well. That's unique to this sport.
And Graham Holmberg finishes his workout in 9 minutes and 44 seconds. Kenny Leverett right behind him, 9 minutes and 49 seconds. And then Kyle Kasperbauer, who is in second place overall, finishing in 9 minutes and 51 seconds. And there comes Nate Schrader, 10 minutes and 4 seconds. The final athlete working away at his overhead squat, Chad Mackey.
Chad Mackey finishing up strong.
There he goes. Wow, incredibly fast times in this heat, Josh.
Yeah, just excellent, unbelievable athletes. Considering 11th event so far, they powered through it like that. I'm impressed.
So the top 24 athletes from this chipper event will advance on to tomorrow's competition. There are your top three. Number one, next to Rich Froning. That's because he not only won this event, he's also in first place in the overall race too.
And he's right now pulling away in that overall race. A comfortable lead heading into Sunday for Rich Froning Jr. Now look at Kasperbauer driving through on these thrusters. Got to get that bar all the way overhead and behind the head. Full extension at the top. The burpee muscle up, a new exercise we haven't seen before. Added a little bit of a challenge, combining two very popular exercises in CrossFit, one very high power output with the burpee, one very high skilled exercise with the muscle up, into one nasty deal.
And there's a good look at two competitors cheering on one. And there's Graham Holmberg as he completes his overhead squats. And there's a good look at your event winner, the men's chipper winner. Rich Froning won, and there he is. He's jumping over his boxes. All right, that will be it for Saturday's competition here at the Home Depot Center. I'm Justin Judkins alongside Josh Everett.